start the session, let me just give you a brief introduction to the panelists that we have here. First, let me introduce retired Colonel Mr. Anil Ahluwalia, who is the Director of Academics here at UniAthena and the Westford Education Group, who is our parent organization. We are also joined by Ms. Fatima Razi, who is the Head of Admissions here at UniAthena, and myself, Nitin Kurian. I am the Program Leader here at UniAthena. Thank you, all of you, for joining in on this session. Let me just share my screen and we will quickly start with the presentation. So the discussion that we are having today is around the Master in Supply Chain and Logistics Management, which is a program that is being offered by UniAthena in partnership with the Guillermo Marconi University, Italy. The agenda that we have for today is we will quickly start off with, just one second. We'll be having a discussion about what Masters in Supply Chain and Logistics Management is all about. And we will then move on to the benefits of having doing a program with a European university like Guillermo Marconi University. We will then move on to Guillermo Marconi University specifically, and we will be looking at what makes this university unique and why it benefits you to take a program and complete a master's program with this university. We will also be looking at the learning methodology that we are having here at UniAthena, how the learning is going to happen, and how you as a learner who would like to enroll into this program can learn with us. The learning is completely online, so you can learn from anywhere around the world. All of the learning resources can be accessed online. All you need is computer and an internet connection, and you can learn this program. You can join in on this program. So we will also be looking at how the learning process happens here at UniAthena, and subsequently we will also be seeing how the admissions process is, what is the the admission criteria and so on. So that's also something that we will be looking at. Okay. And finally, we will also be open to some Q&A. Okay. So this is basically the agenda that we have for our session today. Let me quickly start off with the giving you a brief introduction about the supply chain and logistics management sector. Okay. And also what is the scope of the supply chain and logistic management industry. What are some of the important things that you will be you need to understand as someone who is going to be part of this industry. And we will also briefly look at what some of the career opportunities are for someone who's looking to build or grow a career in the supply chain management sector. Okay. So let's start off with getting a very brief understanding of the supply chain and logistics management sector. Supply chain and logistics management has been deemed as one of the most important attributes or aspects for the success of any organization. simply because it has a very direct impact on the profitability, the cost of production, the cost of management, and even the cost of sales of any product or any goods and service that is being manufactured by or that is being sold by an organization. So since supply chain has such a direct impact on the cost and even the time by which any goods and services reaches the customer, it is of supreme importance for any organization. And an Accenture report states that 60% of all companies who have invested in their supply chain management activities have reported increased profitability. Okay. So that is how significant supply chain management is for an organization. Looking at the supply chain market size, in 2020, the market size was $12.2 trillion, and it is proposed or supposed to reach $15.5 trillion by 2025, a very healthy CAGR of 4.5%. That is the global supply chain market that we are looking at. And another very important development that has happened over the last decade is the rise of the e-commerce industry. And e-commerce industry has really sort of created a demand for very efficient delivery methods. So because of that, there has been a lot of innovation that has happened in the supply chain management sector. The supply chain management industry or the supply chain industry is looking at how they can create very innovative ways to ensure that goods and services are supplied in a very quick and efficient manner. So e-commerce has really created that demand of, let's say, same-day delivery or cash on delivery and all of those things. And the e-commerce supply chain market itself is somewhere around a $6.45 trillion industry today. So again, e-commerce has really created a lot of innovations in the SCM industry. And another thing that we also want to look at is the logistics, which is a very integral part of the supply chain management process. And when we say logistics, we are basically looking specifically at the way in which these goods and services are being transported from the vendor to the manufacturing facility and from the organization to the customer. Okay, so we are specifically looking at the transportation alone, and that itself is supposed to be around contributing around 8.5% of the GDP in US today. So that's how big the logistics industry alone is. And logistics is an integral part of the supply chain sector or the supply chain industry. Next, we also have to look at the rise of technology and how that has created a huge impact in the SELM sector. In fact, you must be aware of new technologies like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, machine learning. All of that also have a very crucial role to play in the supply chain management industry. We have a lot of the aspects of supply chain management now being handled through technology, and there is a whole host of software systems as well that companies are using to execute their supply chain in a very efficient manner. Okay, and the logistics technology or the supply chain technology market alone stands at 14.5 billion as of today. Okay, that's how the technology related to the logistics and supply chain market, that's how big it is today. And we also have a very important aspect around green supply chain, which is where companies today are really looking at how they can reduce their carbon footprint in all of the activities that they're doing. And since supply chain management is an activity or something that the organizations might be, forced to spend a lot of their carbon footprint on. All of the organizations are really looking at how to bring in sustainability in the supply chain management process. They're all very keen on understanding how they can reduce the carbon footprint, prevent the use of fossil fuels, and so on in throughout the length and breadth of the supply chain management process. Okay, so the green supply chain or sustainable supply chain is also a very crucial and upcoming activity in the supply chain management industry. So it's very beneficial for players in this industry to be aware of the trends and the future in green supply chain. We also finally are looking at global trade and supply chain. And because of the growth of global trade, that has really boosted the supply chain industry. As you know, the world has now become a very small place, and there is tremendous amount of global trade that is happening. And this has really elevated the supply chain management industry. And we are expecting the global supply chain sector to reach around 24.5 trillion by the year of 2025. So all of this was to give you a brief idea on the supply chain management industry as such, and what are some of the key matrices in this industry, and what is this industry headed towards, or what is the future look like for this industry. And as you can see, it looks pretty green, and there is a lot of massive growth opportunity for growth in this industry. Now let's move on to a session where we are looking at what is the scope of supply chain management, supply chain and logistics management. Obviously, it is a very broad concept and involves so many things. But I just wanted to give you a basic understanding of what is the scope of this subject or this industry. We start off with trying to understand what supply chain and logistics is all about. Essentially, in supply chain, we are looking at two very important aspects. One is the flow or movement of a product, okay, right from its initiation all the way up till its consumption by the customer. Okay, that is essentially what supply chain management as a whole deals with. Okay, and the second important aspect to supply chain management is that you're also concerned with the movement and storage of all of the raw materials that are required in order to produce the goods and services. Okay, so these are the two important aspects that we are broadly looking at in supply chain management. And based on this, we can divide the entire supply chain management process into, let's say, 4 or 5 key segments or sections, where there is one stage of planning, in which we are planning the whole thing out and looking strategically at how this flow of goods and services can happen in the most efficient manner. Okay, that's the stage of planning. Then we come to a stage of sourcing, where we are very keen on understanding where to source our raw materials from, post which or subsequent to which we can then go ahead and manufacture the goods and services in our organization. And once this phase of manufacturing is complete, then there is a phase of inventory management and storage, where we are interested in how to store the goods and services that we have produced. And then finally, how we can take these goods and services and get it into the hands of our customers. And once our our product is being consumed by our customer, then the supply chain management process ends. Okay, so this is the scope, the broad scope of the supply chain and logistics management process. And that is what we have to understand at the onset. Then we move on to what are some of the decision phases that are involved in all of these sections that I was discussing about. So a decision regarding who sourcing is one important aspect. Who are going to be our sources of raw materials? Which vendor am I going to source my raw materials from? Am I going to source it from a primary vendor? Am I going to source it from a secondary vendor? Am I going to source it locally? Am I going to source it internationally? These are all the decisions these are some of the decisions that are involved in the sourcing process. Then again, we have a lot of decisions related to the manufacturing process in terms of where should my plant be? What should be the layout of my plant be? Should my plant be in a particular region, or should my plant be somewhere outside the region where I'm selling this product? And lot of similar considerations. Again, then it comes to inventory management and warehousing. Then there are a lot of decisions involved there as well, in terms of how do I store these products? What is the location of my warehouse going to be? What is the size of my warehouse going to be? And all of that. And finally, we also have decisions related to the distribution channel that we would be opting for. Would we be using multiple layers of distribution channels and all of that? So the next integral part of the supply chain process would be in terms of the various decisions that we are taking towards executing this from the beginning to the end. Okay. After that comes the sourcing, specifically the sourcing, where again we are looking at how we can strategically source all of these materials. And then we are moving to the phase of logistics, which is the actual transportation of these goods and services. The transportation can happen two ways. There is inbound logistics and outbound logistics. Inbound logistics involves all of the logistics where raw materials are coming into the organization, which is then required for us to manufacture or produce the goods and services that we are selling. And outbound logistics involves all of the logistics that is related to getting our products into the hands of our customers. And the information technology, or IT, plays a very important role in this, because it is through IT systems, let's say ERP systems and many other software systems, that we are able to very efficiently track the movement of raw materials as well as goods from our vendors and to our suppliers. Okay, so logistics and IT becomes a very important and integral aspect of the scope of supply chain and logistics management. Then we have a phase of planning and forecasting. In planning and forecasting, what we are really interested is in terms of reducing our wastage and reducing our cost by not overproducing based on the demand for our product in the market. Okay, we always want to optimize our production in such a way that it is really matching the demand for our product in the market. We do not want to underproduce and we do not want to overproduce. Obviously, if we underproduce, we are not meeting the requirements of our customers in the market. And if we are overproducing, it is a deterrent for us. It is a cost for us, an additional cost for us, and it's a wastage for us. So this whole segment of planning and forecasting is really looking at how we can do demand planning, how we can do sales forecasting and all of that, and then bring those understandings into the supply chain management process, so that we really understand what is the amount of raw material that we need to be ordering, what is the lead time involved in getting these raw materials into our organization for manufacturing, and what is the supply that we have to do, what is the kind of inventory management and storage that we have to be looking at. So all of that is what we will be dealing with in planning and forecasting. And then subsequently in inventory management as well. And finally, we are also interested in analyzing the performance of our supply chain management activities. And there are a lot of metrics that we would like to see. And the whole objective of supply chain management is to ensure that, one is in terms of cost. How can we reduce the cost of sourcing our raw materials and supplying our products to the customer? And the other is in terms of time. Okay, how quickly can we source our raw materials and how quickly can we get our products into the hands of the customer? So our performances are always measured in terms of these non-financial parameter, which is mostly in terms of time, and in terms of these financial parameters, which is cost. Okay, so there are a lot of models that help us in trying to optimize the supply chain management process. So all of these put together is in a very broad sense. Obviously, there are a lot more deeper aspects in all of this, but all of these put together in a very broad sense is what makes up the supply chain and logistic management domain. Okay. Now let me move forward to some of the career pathways that you can have in this industry or this sector. I'm sure many of you who are looking at this sector might be interested to understand what are some of the career pathways in the sector. It's like you can see, or as you can see, it's a very, very broad sector involving so many attributes and so many things are involved. So the career prospects are also very, very vast in this industry. But I just wanted to bring to your attention a few of them, just to give you an understanding of the kind of opportunities that are available. So we have opportunities for purchase managers. So these are individuals who are looking at a very broad and strategic sense in terms of the purchase of raw materials for the organization. So they sit with the leadership and they try and understand what some of the constraints are in terms of purchase. And then they deal with the vendors or the suppliers in terms of procuring the raw materials that are required. Something very closely related is the materials analyst. He is someone, or he or she is someone who looks at the quality of the material that needs to be procured. Okay, and is very closely works very closely with the purchasing division and the inventory management division. Okay, he or she needs to make sure that there is enough materials or raw materials available for the production of goods and services in the organization. Then there is a strategic planner or someone who looks at the whole supply chain process strategically and sees whether there is alignment of the strategic management activities with the organizational objectives and so on. Okay. Then we have the procurement manager. The procurement manager again is looking at the end-to-end procurement of the goods and services. One distinction between the purchase manager and the procurement manager is the procurement manager has a broader role to play, while the purchase manager is looking at things more transactionally. He's looking at the transactions related to the purchase, while the procurement manager has a much larger or wider scope. Okay. Then we also come into the segment of inventory management, where we have the warehouse manager, the inventory manager, the demand planner. All of these are profiles or job roles that we associate with the inventory management side of things. Okay. And then we also have an international logistics manager. Like I showed you in the previous slide, there is a lot of international trade that's happening. So we want, our organizations want someone who understands the nuances of international logistics, the various rules and regulations that apply to international trade and so on. So that's also very interesting opportunity within the space. And you can also look at being supply chain management consultant who works with, several organizations or several players in this domain, and giving them, consultancy or giving your advice or your expertise on, how to manage this whole thing. And there are also opportunities in the customer service space where you're trying to help the customers who are, partnered with such organizations who are into supply chain and logistics management. So, like I said before, not exhaustive in any way. This list is not exhaustive in any way, but I just wanted to give you a very broad understanding of what some of the opportunities are in this space. Okay. So that was a little bit about the supply chain management sector, the scope, and what some of the career pathways are. Now let's get into the actual course, the Master in Supply Chain and Logistics Management that we are offering here at UniAthena in collaboration with Guglielmo Marconi University, Italy. And I invite retired Colonel Anil Ahluwalia to give us a walkthrough on UniAthena, Westford Education Group, our parent organization, and also GMU, our partner university. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Nitin, and a very good day to everyone in different parts from wherever you are today. Thank you for coming over. Would just like to maybe give you a little overview of the Westford Education Group, and then of a little bit about the Guglielmo Marconi University. So, Westford University Group, we started off as a small unit, Westford School of Management, about 12 years back. And from there, now over a period of time, I mean, we've grown into a group called the Westford Education Group, in which UniAthena is one of the colleges, part of it. There are other colleges. There are 3 more management colleges. There's an American university now we have, which we've acquired. There's a sports school. There's an IT company. There's a primary school. And there's also a film institute as part of the whole group. So UniAthena is one of our newest colleges in terms of catering to the needs of a lot of you who are displaced and in different parts of the world. So it's a very strong online platform, college in which we can share through our robust LMS that we have and the platforms that we have to all of you in the best possible manner, keeping all the quality controls and checks into balance. And so we run a number of these online courses for working professionals. The best part of this is that it's very self-paced in UniAthena. You can follow all these courses at your own time. So there are some fantastic videos you'll find, including the reference materials, etc., which are there, and a fantastic online library with many articles, journals, blogs, reports, etc., that you can refer to. So that's a little bit about the Westford Education Group and UniAthena being our latest college within this particular group. I'll just give you a little information about the Guglielmo Marconi University, from where you will be eventually getting your degree. So can we have the next slide? Yeah. All right. So, Guglielmo Marconi University, this is in Italy, in Rome. And this was set up in 2005 or so. It's recognized by the Italian Ministry of Higher Education. It's a very popular now university with nearly over 20,000 students in its fold. And it's very strong on the online platform, in terms of running these programs and courses. And it would be always wonderful to, do your course from here, because, like I said, it's highly recognized. It's from the Higher Education Ministry of Italy. Also, it's part of the Bologna process, as you can see, the second point, which is like a seamless process which was initiated in Bologna. Bologna is a city in the University of Bologna in Italy itself. And this was started initially basically to ensure that the higher education systems within Europe become more seamless, so that different countries have different regulatory requirements. So the Bologna process basically combined all this, integrated it, made it more seamless, so that there could be inter-movement between different universities within Europe. And now it's more or less global, because this is also recognized globally all over the world. So that was a little bit about the Bologna. And now, of course, this process was set up in 1999 with 29 countries. Today, it has 49 countries in its fold. It also holds, this university multi-rank classification. So this, university multi-rank classification is something special of, again, the European universities, whereby they judge them in 5 different domains and dimensions. Like it can be knowledge, it can be learning, teaching, delivery, international partnerships, the regional, collaborations that they have. So in different systems, and they have the classifications from A to EA being very good and E being, of course, weak. So they classify them in different classifications, and GMU has a very good and high ranking in terms of being A in all its international collaborations and partnerships that they have. Like they are there with the UniAthena, and also part of the Westport Education Group, that we are partnering with them. And okay, can we have the next slide, please? All right, so this, what you will get is a master degree from the GMU, which is the European University. Like I said, it has global recognition. So not only within the Bologna countries, but also internationally and in a global context today, because Bologna is recognized obviously all over the world. The methodology of assessment will be more pragmatic and practical in terms of, any master's program has more to do with not only understanding, of course, the theoretical and the knowledge component or the parts of any unit or program that we run, but to get an inherent kind of a feeling of what this whole unit is about, a practical kind of a scenarios being built up will always good. So practical assessments you'll have in terms of, you can choose your own organizations. You will be given kind of case studies with different organizations, to work upon, and very live practical examples. And that's how the assessment will take place, so that it gives you a good blend of both the theoretical and the practical aspects of this important course. The superior quality legacy. So one thing that I would like to mention over here is that in the Westport Education Group, as well as in the in UniAthena, which is part of it, there are 2 things we concentrate upon, and they are part of our KPIs, or key performance indicators. One is, of course, the quality control. So we want to ensure that we give you the best quality in terms of the materials, the resources, the instructors, the staff members, and the best. And the second is the student support. We want to support you. We want to help you out and ensure that we understand that you are part of this a whole fraternity or a family trying to finish this program or course. And it's our endeavor always to help you out, to ensure that wherever you're getting stuck or you require certain kind of different kind of helps, whether in academics or administration or even personal, we are there to help you out. The other point is that the vision of Westport has always been a very strategic vision, has to be to expand to the frontiers globally on a good online platform. That's why we acquired our own IT company. So we made a very robust kind of a platform, and you will go through the LMS that we have, the learning management system, and you go through it. We also have e-classrooms inbuilt onto it. And like I said, even the e-online library is part of it. So we have a very strong infrastructure in terms of supporting you, because all of you are displaced geographically in different locations. And the aim is to make it reach to maximum people. And the best is to make it affordable. So we want to have that flexibility. We want to make it affordable so that maximum people should be able to upgrade themselves to the higher skills that all of us aspire for, in our lives. Again, I'm repeating, from the quality point of view, you will have the topmost quality programs comparable anywhere in the world. And in terms of being affordable, I think they're very affordable. We try to help you out, and Ms. Fatima will be able to tell you some of those things later on if you have certain questions on it. Also, the flexibility in terms of the duration can vary from 9 to 24 months. It depends on your competency in terms of how fast you want to do it and finish this particular program. So we have our methodologies of giving you in between time, or if you want to do it fast track, also help you to finish it off within that time. But there is a limit to it, of course. And like I've said, within 2 years, we expect you to finish this particular program. Or can we have the next one? Nitin, can we? Yeah, thank you. All right. The flexible we already talked about. The easy payments, I was telling you about being affordable, and also in terms of the easy payments. Again, Ms. Fatima will be able to give you a little better discourse once she talks about it, and you can ask questions if you have any clarifications later on it. But it's made easy on you so that, like I said, we want to ensure that you get your higher qualifications of the standard, but it is affordable and it's easy on your payment plans through the EMIs that you pay. Then the European standard, I think I mentioned to you about the masters from the European University. GMU is a highly recognized university, higher education part of the Bologna, like I said, and worldwide. And the support system, what I told you was about the personal tutor support. So you will all have, for your assignments, a personal tutor assigned to you for the in whichever different module or unit that you're doing. So whichever unit you are doing, you may have certain queries, certain issues, certain clarifications. So you can get in touch with your personal tutor who will help you out with understanding the concepts or help you out with the materials that you want to go through, or help you out with certain assignment questions that you still want to clarify from them. So that's the academic support we provide you. We also provide you the administrative support in terms of, we have student engagement executives who are providing you more support, and administrators who are providing you support in terms of the LMSs, the IT support that is required, any other administrative support that you may require. We again have these people helping you out. And of course, Ms. Fatima and her team are there as the counselors to help you out with anything, any other issue that you may have, personal or otherwise. You can always approach them and they will help you out with all your issues, etc. So I think that's all. I had to just give you a little brief on what it is all about. At the end of the day, we'd all like you to do this particular program. And I'd also like to apprise you that next week, we are having a great big convocation at the Guglielmo Marconi University. I have the privilege of going there next week. And I would like to see a lot of you next year when we have the next convocation in Italy. And it's a grand occasion, of course. You can get your family members, etc., over there and get this coveted award right in that grand, celebration and the way they are going to do it over there. So thank you all for coming in. I hope to see a lot of you doing this particular course, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Now we move on to the certifications that are available once you complete this master's program on Master in Supply Chain and Logistics Management program with us. The first is the Master Degree in Supply Chain and Logistics Management offered by Guglielmo Marconi University, Italy. And I'm sure you must have got a very clear understanding of how well rated the university is and all of that from Anil sir. And the other qualification that you will receive is a PG diploma in supply chain and logistics management offered by the Cambridge International Qualifications UK. So this is a postgraduate diploma in supply chain and logistics management offered by Cambridge International Qualifications UK. So this is a dual certification, and you will be eligible for both these certificates once you complete this program. I also wanted to give you a brief overview of the different modules or units that we will be covering as part of this program. And just to give you an understanding of what you will be learning once you enroll into this program. So we start off with a module or a unit on sustainability and business, which holds 7 ECTS. This is the European credit transfer system. It holds 7 ECTS. And this module basically looks at sustainability and why it's important for businesses to consider. And like I already discussed in the initial slides, you could see that there is a great push for sustainable practices in supply chain management. So it's important for us to understand the relevance of sustainability and how sustainability can be implemented in business. Then we have a module on strategic supply chain and logistics management, covering most of the aspects that we have discussed in the initial slides. After that, we move on to a module on strategic leadership and HR practices in organization. So as you must be knowing, managing people, being a leader is important in no matter which function of the organization you are working in. So this module gives you an understanding, a deep understanding of what are some of the leadership and HR practices that you need to hone in as a manager working in the supply chain management domain. Okay. Then we also have a module on operations management. Since operations is really tied in with supply chain management, it's important for a supply chain manager to understand the nuances of operation management as well. So we offer a module on operations management. Then we also have a module on strategic management and leadership. So this is where we want to ensure that there is alignment between the supply chain management activities that are there in the organization with that of the overall strategic objectives of the organization. So this is where that person comes in and becomes the link between what the organization requires and how the supply chain practices need to be aligned towards that. So that's a module where we are looking at things from more of a strategic perspective. Then we have a module on supply chain and logistics in the global context. Again, referring to the previous slides, we could see how global trade is on the rise and how it has become such an important part of the supply chain management domain. So we want to give you a module on how supply chain and logistics management apply in the global context. What are some of the knowledge or understanding that you need to have, let's say as an international logistics manager or an international logistics consultant, or even otherwise, what are the understandings that you need to have in order to ensure that supply chain happens globally, okay? Because that is more or less going to be the scenario in most of the organizations. So that's a module on that. And finally, we also have a module where you get to do a research paper or a dissertation on a topic of your choosing. And it would be ideal if it's related to supply chain and logistics management. And then you're basically writing a dissertation or a research paper on the topic of your choosing. And there will be a lot of support in terms of having a dissertation guide and so on, who will help you through that journey. But over the span of 3 to 6 months that you will have in order to do that dissertation, you would have created a research paper or a dissertation of your own on the topic that you've chosen. So this is a, a brief on all of the topics or the subjects that would be covered in this program. Yeah, so moving on, let's now look at how the learning process happens in UniAthena. So let's say you've enrolled for this program, the Master in Supply Chain and Logistics Management program. So how would you go about learning the modules that we've just discussed, and how would you go about completing this program? So like we've already discussed, this is a completely online program. So all you need to do is once you enroll, you would be given access to our what's called our learning management system, and all of the learning resources will be available in our learning management system for you to access at any time, anywhere. You can learn at your own pace, at the comfort of your own location, and that's the advantage that we have. And beginning with what's called a video lecture. So a video lecture is going to be a short video on a particular topic within that unit. Let's say there is a unit on a lesson on strategic leadership and HR practices. That's a unit or a module that we saw earlier. As you can see, there are going to be several lessons inside that module. Okay, starting with, as you can see here, the origin of HRM, the characteristics and purpose of HRM, the functions of HRM, and so on. So for each lesson, you're going to get a short video lecture by a faculty who's going to be discussing that particular topic. Okay, so that's the first learning resource that you have, a set of video lectures for all the lessons that are part of that particular subject or module. After the video lessons, you also have what's called the essential readings. So the essential reading is basically more or less covers what has been discussed in the video lecture, but discusses things in a little bit more detail. But the advantage here is that you have the learning resource in text-based format, something that you can read. So if you're someone who likes to read and learn, then the essential reading segment is the one for you. So for each lesson, apart from the video lecture, you are also going to be getting an essential readings section where you can go through the material, just read through the material. Okay, so we have for each lesson a video lecture and then an essential reading. Following that, we also have what's called a reference material. A reference material is mostly going to be something like a case study that is relevant to the topic that is being discussed. So the case study will mostly be available in PDF format, as you can see on the screen here. All you need to do is download that case study and you can go through that case study for a deeper understanding of the topic that is being discussed. Okay. And last but not the least, we also give you access to an online library, which is the ProQuest e-library, where you can access a lot of research papers and articles written in and around the topic that is being discussed. Okay, so all you need to do is come here into this additional resources section and click on the links, and you will be directed to a lot of reference material, scholarly journals, scholarly articles, all around the topic that is being discussed. And like I said, all of these 4 levels or 4 layers of learning resources, starting from the video lecture all the way to the additional resources, they're available for each and every lesson in a given module. So let's say the strategic supply chain and logistics management module is going to have 25 to 30 lessons. Then each of these lessons are going to have all of these 4 levels or layers of learning resources available for you. So there is a lot of content for you to go through once you enroll into this program. And there is a lot of personal tutorship support, like Anand sir has already mentioned. for you to, clarify any of the academic queries that you're having while you're learning this program. So that's a little bit about our learning management system and how you will be accessing our learning resources. Okay. Now, finally, we have a segment on how you can enroll into this program and how you can make the payment and so on. So I let Ms. Fatima give you more information on that. Over to you, Ms. Fatima.
Okay, hello everyone. For the program, we have, you can enroll, like we have a very affordable payment plan. You can pay in installments, like, or pay per module basically. So you need not pay for the entire fee upfront. You just need to pay for the module which you are taking. You submit your application. Upon approval, you pay for the first module. Once you complete that module, then you pay for the next and start it and so on, till you reach the degree certification. So once you complete the entire course, you finish the dissertation, you need to pay the degree certification fee and claim the certificate. Okay, next slide, please, Krishna. Next slide, please. Okay, now there's also an early exit award. You can, if you want to, maybe because of some unfortunate circumstance or maybe some scenario wherein you cannot complete the entire course, you want to exit in the middle of the program. So you need not worry, you can take a certificate or a diploma or an award for whatever module you've taken. So you, for example, completed one module, you can claim the credits for that. If you've done 3 modules or 5 modules, you can claim the certificate for that. In case you've completed the entire 6 modules for part 1, you can claim the CMI diploma certificate, and then you can exit. Later on, if you want to come back, you want to continue your studies, you can do it as well. Next slide, please. Okay, the eligibility criteria. Now we have 2 kinds of entry. One is academic, wherein you need a bachelor's degree, which is like from an accredited institution or a university. Or in case you do not have a bachelor's degree, you can also get through our mature entry route, which involves like you should have an A-level qualification or equivalent, plus at least 5 years of relevant managerial work experience. So either you can get through on the basis of your bachelor's degree certificate, or you can get through if you have 5 years of relevant managerial work experience. Plus, apart from that, you need to have a good level of English. We require a band of 5.5 IELTS. In case you've not taken the exam, but you're working in like an organization where English is the medium of communication, or you've taken your studies in an English medium, so you can you need not take the exam as such. Next slide, please. Okay, now we're open to questions. You can just first we'll take the questions in the chat box, and then we'll take on the other questions. Okay, we'll just take the program as it is. Okay, I think Nitin, these are for you, the initial questions. How did e-commerce improve logistics and the Blue Whip? Nitin?